I believe the stories that were told to me that the old Corroboree people used to travel this route. They used to come through off the river and come through Stanbridge, at Stanbridge Lagoon there, where is a good watering, used to be a good watering hole. Then on to Koonadan here, which had plenty of food, water, and then they used to travel on to Firebear. It's known as Firebear. I don't know the Aboriginal name in days gone by. And then out to the hills out there at Bora, and then back into Lake Median, and then into the Murrumbidgee River at Grong.
I was formerly a sites officer with National Parks, and we carried out some different projects at Koonadan. Koonadan's a large dune site that source borders Tuckerbil Swamp, which was an important resource place for Wiradjuri people for many years. The reason why Koonadan's an important site was a burial area, and in the early 80s human remains were discovered, bones were dug up as part of those ceremonial operations.
1983, prior to 1983, was I remember my grandfather being upset regarding all the bones that were being found around town. They were turning up in people's lawns and that, from people getting sand from the people that were mining this place, and he was most upset and angry. And then, after they started, the community started making some complaints and so forth.
My husband Arthur used to play bowls at the Leeton and District Club, and he was there one afternoon and he heard them all skiting about the bones and that were being put down at Wattle Hill. All the sand for the new housing commission homes and what have you and that. And he went and seen the bloke who was supposed to have dumped the load of sand and had the bones in it, and he went and seen him and found out, yes, it is right. So he went and seen Brian Higgins, Dot Ingram and Dennis, seen them, and they decided to hold a protest here and stop them from mining the sand just over here on the right.
I became involved because back in '82 my mum was heavily involved in politics and Aboriginal issues, significantly for Leeton. She then came by information that there was skeletal remains, Aboriginal remains here in the hills. A cousin of mine had gone to my mum and said, Dorothy Ingram, and said, that there's skeleton remains out here and we need to do something.
When it was first discovered, everyone in the community who could came out here and camped and really fought hard to try and have everything recognised and to get some significance for everyone else in the community to understand, this was our cemetery. This was a ceremonial ground. It was the centre of what used to be our total culture.
Initially in 1983, skeletal remains were found in this section of the sand hills. Formerly it was one of the local sand carters used this area to cart sand. He came across it, and skeletal remains were found in one of his, while he was excavating, and then the Land Council became aware that there were skeletal remains here. They sort of put a stop to the excavations, sort of through protest and talking to council and local Parks and Wildlife, just to stop the excavator digging any more remains up.
There was news and stuff from Sydney as well, which came on the national news. It was something that impacted everywhere. For anyone who came from this area, it was really talked about a lot, and there was a lot of support sent in from other Aboriginal communities and places as well.
Loads of media coming from Griffith, MTN9 at the time it was. I do recall that ABC, and Wagga news media people were constantly in the paper, and there was lots, and again that was brought about a lot of conflict and for us in this community, and we understand and appreciated that that community thought that we were again shutting down a man's livelihood.
A whole host of community members came out here and blockaded the whole place so that we could let the authorities know that we weren't going to put up with it, and the blockade succeeded. And Peter Moore from National Parks at the time realised the extent of the anger that was here in the community.
The Leeton Lake Aboriginal Land Council got the support of the Wiradjuri Regional Aboriginal Land Council back in 85, 86, and from there letters went to the Minister for Lands and also the Minister for Environment to actually get some protection for Koonadan, because it was a known Aboriginal burial site.
I remember standing by the graveside while they were burying the bones and seeing how the community come together, and just the sense of calm on everyone's faces as well.
Yeah, we're involved with Koonadan, with the Aboriginal community and the Land Council and elders around the area, both at Leeton, Narandra and Griffith. In regards to at this point in time, they're using Koonadan as a repatriation to repat all their ancestral remains, as well as any other materials that need repatriation in regards to artefacts, and some timber products maybe.
So the historic site's about 21 hectares roughly. It would take in the southern third of the sand dune, and there's an adjoining neighbour who has the majority of the sandhill. I know it's been a community concern and an aspiration that the community does purchase the rest of the sandhill and possibly down to the edge of Tuckerbil, and that could become a learning place so that you could take school groups out and show them how the old people used to live.
A lot of the vegetation you see around here at the end of the day has been replanted. This site many years ago, back in '83, was pretty much cleared, and a lot of the replanting was done with the assistance of the National Parks and Wildlife Service providing funding, and the Aboriginal community actually planting the trees. There was a concerted effort to try and plant it so it looked natural, rather than having a sort of a rows of trees and all the same height and similar plants.
It's important to me that Koonadan is now recognised, that our ancestors' remains are here, and hopefully they're not disturbed any longer, and they're now put at rest.
But I think it's important that when we identify special places, that they need to be protected, and I don't think that that'll impinge too much on our agricultural activities. I think that'll enhance Australians' understanding of their the Aboriginal heritage they have.
One story that I was told from my uncle, who's an elder in the community, was that he was told as a child that it was actually not a burial site over here, but it was actually where they were massacred, that they were actually camping here in the early 1900s when the white settlers come along, discovered them there, that they just massacred them and left them there.